Bobby here with the Newfoundland Outsider YouTube channel, and today we're fixing generators, troubleshooting solar batteries, repairing a 1972 wood stove, and cutting a winter's wood for the cabin. So the logging roads is a little bit icy today, and I'm driving an E-Tick, and you gotta have constant snow flicked up under the tonneau of the bottom of the seat, and that helps cool her down. So these cables here, they would flick snow up as you move to keep your slides slippery, these Teflon slides. Also, up underneath there is your radiator, and you want to have constant snow up there to keep your motor cool down. That. Hopefully that will keep her cool down. So everybody always comment on my knitting on the side of my cabin, and this is for black bears. I can take it down now, I don't need to keep it up. Hopefully all the black bears are gone in hibernation. I can just leave it there now for the winter. But black bears, curious black bears, especially young ones that have been driven away from mom, is curious about the camps. There's lots of smells, they're looking for something to eat. But we never had a lot of trouble, we just had one actually come by. Ooh, nice. Nice and clean. Anyway, it's nice when you clean it up before you leave on the last trip, so you can come back to a nice clean cabin. So I think the first thing we're going to do is get that generator up and running, so we can get the diesel heater fired up, because I can't run my wood stove because the back is burnt out of it. I need to repair the back this weekend. Okay, well, this is a King generator from King, Canada. These are done in Montreal, Quebec. But I thought they built them there, but I did a bit of research, and apparently they just bring all the parts in from China, rebrand them, and sell them as King Canada. I didn't know that. This is a 2,000 watt continuous. That means it can run up to things up to 2,000 watts constantly, and it's got a 2,200 watt peak, so it can spike a little bit more and come back down to 2,000. I also like to run that little generator until it runs out of fuel, so I know how much you get out of a tank. It's got a little 4.5 liter tank on it. I would like to know how many hours I get out of that. Okay, well, we got the cabin running on a generator. We're going to fire up the diesel heater. We'll fill it up first and see how long we get out of the tank. Okay, well, it looks like I'm not out of the woods yet with my generator. It just died again. Yes, it's fucking pouring out of her. Gas is just pouring out of her. Floater's stuck. Wow. What a fucking piece of shit. Gas is coming out of her. Looks like the float is stuck. Wow. What a piece of junk. This is like brand new. It's only got a couple hours on it. I was relying on this generator to charge my battery so I could run the diesel heater all night, because I don't got a wood stove. Man. I had in mind to put that in the barrel over there and burn that with a bunch of diesel. I'll let it sit there for a while. Turn off the fuel. That'll take the pressure off the choke in the carburetor. Maybe I can stop the fuel from pouring out. But what am I going to do for heat for tonight? Well, we're going to have to go and clean out the solar panels to try and get some charge in the batteries. They're not dead, but they're down to 12.1. And I don't want to use them to make them worse, because they'll freeze on me. With modern solar panels, you just need a bright day and it'll still put out some wattage. Not as much as on a sunny day, but it will put out some. So I have what you call monocrystal solar panels. You can get monocrystal, you can get polycrystal, and you can also get thin crystal. Thin crystal is that one you might have seen. It's kind of flexible. People use it for backpacking. Kind of flexible piece of plastic, really. I have the monocrystal. They're a little cheaper than the polycrystal, but both polycrystal and monocrystal, they will charge when there is no direct sunlight. On winter days like this where it's really bright and the sky is bright, it will take in quite a bit of wattage, and when you're not here at the cabin, it will fully charge your batteries by the time you get back next time. It's not as great as when the sun is out, but it does a good job. So I'm going to really scrape off this solar panel and get it really clean. And the only thing I got that I could do it with is my spatula. I got more solar panels to go up here in the spring. I thought I'd just use my generator for the month. Got a nice view up here. Very, very quiet today. Very quiet. Wow. I guess I got a break in the wind. Maybe somebody looking out to me knowing that my generator is down and the stove is down. I have no heat for tonight and it's -10. Okay, so I'm gonna let the generator sit for a while. Maybe I can fix that float thing later. I just cleaned out the solar panel, so hopefully that'll charge my batteries a little better. I'm gonna get my coveralls on. I'm gonna try and turn this big old stove around and try and repair the back, because I have no heat for tonight. I'll have to take the stovepipe off and try and spin the stove around and do my work. Oh boy, it weighs a lot. I'm going to have to put a wire around my chimney and fasten it to the ceiling so I can pull the bottom parts off without all this falling down. I can get her out. The stove is so heavy. I'll take her out in pieces. Okay, well these stoves were made in Sackville, New Brunswick. Not Sackville, Nova Scotia. Sackville, New Brunswick. And they were from the Enterprise Foundry, because the name of the stove is Enterprise. They're from the Enterprise Foundry in Sackville, New Brunswick. And they ran from 1800 to early 2000s. There was also another Enterprise Foundry company. And they were the Enterprise Manufacture Company in Springfield, Missouri. But they weren't so well known around the world as these that were made in New Brunswick. My spatula's come in handy here today. First I scraped off the solar panels. Now I'm scraping out charcoal and ash. Stoves have a little rocking system so you could put all the ashes in the bottom tray. Just rock it back and forth like that until all the ashes are gone. Then you pull all the ashes out the bottom. The stove is not in great shape. I almost need a new stove, really. But I hate to get rid of this Enterprise stove. But I'll turn it around, see if I can repair the back, get it cleaned up, and I'll go from there. Okay, so this is the problem here. That's what you call gone. So I did make a new one. And I'm hoping I can fit it right over there somehow. Don't look like I have much choice now because it's the middle of the winter. I'm not sure if I'm getting a new stove in here or not. So, I need to put up with this stove at least for the winter. So I gotta try and make it work. Alright. That'll make it a little easier to work at it. And a little easier to put it back, I'm hoping. Okay, well, I had to make a decision. Problem is, it's just not this. If it was just this, I could repair it. But the stove is in way worse shape than I thought. That is gone. The bottom in there is gone. And I notice the box inside is bad. And in my oven up there, I don't know if you can see it, that is gone. And the fire would just fall down on the floor like it's been doing. So it needs a lot of work, more work than I can do in here, and more work than I actually want to do with it. There's a point where you gotta cut your losses, I guess. Yeah, so we kind of need a new stove. I got one out there, the big iron one, but it's way too big. It's not efficient at all. It burns a lot of wood. I managed to get the generator going. I figured out one thing, that in the on position is open too much, so the choke cable is not set properly. I got my charging system on the battery to do my batteries. Turn on my switch. And I got my tank filled up. Turn on my heater. Level 6. As far as she goes. Well, my generator died again. That's the last straw. I can see that it's leaking. I was hoping it would stay going so I could stay the night. But I can't stay the night with no wood stove and no heater. And we're supposed to get strong winds tonight, and it's -10 right now. So I just want to put a couple filler boards in this little slot here where the old stove was. We're going to pack up now and go out. I was going to stay the night, but I got no heat source again tonight. So I'm going to go out and look for a really nice stove. I want an energy efficient stove this time. Something I could bank up with wood and have it go for 4 or 5 hours during the night while I'm sleeping. Also want to get myself a better generator. I'll try and fix this one once more because I'm a glutton for punishment. But I need to find a nice generator. I had a Yamaha before. It was awesome. I need to get another Yamaha. Okay, well, we're back. We went out. We got a new stove. We got some more supplies. And we're back in. So today we're going to install that stove. It was a hard old slog coming in today. We had quite a bit of snow in here. Even though I got the wide track, it's still a lot of snow even for her. So I know the stove is going to be a good stove. I just hope it draws nice, because a lot of stoves you get, even if you buy one or make one, it doesn't draw very good. That means the exhaust don't go up the pipe as nice as it should and enable the fire to be better than it should be. It's not light. Okay, so that's the stove I'm going to go with. It's got bricks to make it more energy efficient. We need to get our fire going and get some warm water so we can clean this place up. Everything is full of soot. So the old stove had a 7-inch pipe. So now I got to get an adapter. So this is a 7-inch to a 6-inch adapter, because my stove is a 6-inch stove pipe. So when you buy stove pipe, it comes in sections like this. It's all slid together, different pieces at the store. And what you got to do is just snap it together. So because this is not an airtight stove, I'm going to put what's called a dampener in the stovepipe. So all you do is drill a hole here and here, and you insert the damper up there, put your rod through, and then you could turn it off at night. And by turning it off at night, you can control the flow of exhaust or smoke going up the pipe. Alright, hopefully you can see that. So now you got a dampener for at night. Close it off and let your stove simmer all night. Open it up for a good fire. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just put these nuts behind it. So when it goes in there, I'll screw it on and it'll be spaced off against the wall. Give it a little air gap to make even a better fire break. Not even close to being straight. So normally in this situation, when you got a wood stove built, the exhaust or the smoke can go straight up the chimney. But you can make your stove a little more efficient by putting in a little diverter plate. And I made one up here. Let's see, go down a bit further. There. So now what happens is the fire's got to come back out a bit and then go up the pipe, which makes it more efficient. Okay, so finally I'm going to put some bricks in there. Bricks make your stove more efficient. Okay, so that's the stove there. Ooh, push the plate down on the brick. All right, first light. Well, she's drawing really nice. I'm happy about that. Gonna be good. Okay, that deserves a cup of tea for sure. Water bucket is frozen up. After I get this cup of tea, I need a major cleanup around here. I got soot everywhere, garbage everywhere. It is -2 today. Not too bad. We'll go see how warm we can get this cabin. Man, it's hot here. Whew. Wow, that stove's working good. Not really, but it is working good. Time to clean up. This place is a pig's bin. Stove's working really well, actually. We got it up to 20 degrees in just over an hour. Would take me 4 or 5 hours with the old stove. This is a nice galvanized bucket, so I'm going to paint it with barbecue paint. So when I does my ashes, so it won't burn the paint off. Well, we have a nice garbage can, heat resistant, and a hash can. Beautiful out now. Calm. Snow has stopped. My chime needs a bigger wheel on it. It takes a lot of wind to start it. Alright, we gotta get some lunch here. I'm starving. Okay, well, let's have some lunch. I'm gonna have a few hot dogs. I'm gonna relax for a while. After that, we gotta clean up and organize our tools. I bought a tool caddy that goes in a 5-gallon bucket. So I'm gonna organize it all there. I gotta clean up these floors. And I gotta address these solar batteries. I put 2 extra batteries with the 2 I got. And now they don't come up very much. I don't know if one of the batteries I installed last week is bad. Hot dogs. Okay, so today I got some hot dogs. I got some dates and cheese, snowballs, wagon wheel, and a piece of fruit cake. So this fruit cake here, that's the fruit cake my brother Scott made. And I've been soaking that in cheesecloth filled with a flask of lamb's rum for the last month. So it's very strong. So if you ever want to take your fruitcake up to the next level, get yourself some lamb's rum. You pour some in a mug. You soak your cheesecloth in the mug, and you wrap your fruitcake. And every week you do that until the flask is gone. And just let it sit on the shelf for a month, and it'll absorb all the rum. So I got all my things organized, a little better. So I actually find something now. Let's check out these batteries and see what's going on. It won't run my inverter anymore. And I might have to go to another system. So that one's on 11.78. 11.78. The charge controller says it's 12.4 volts in the batteries right now. I got the solar panels cleaned off. They're charging well. But down here, it's below 12. It's 11.78. And I know that because when you turn this one on, and if it's below 12, it gets a beeping sound like that. I'm going to separate them and make sure they're both 11.78 and not one being bad and draining the other three. So as you can see, these are 11.90 below 12 volts, although my charge indicator says it's 12.3. The batteries are obviously not more than 12, because if they were, the inverter would kick in. Okay, well, I guess we're going old school tonight. We just got a lantern. Because without my solar system, I can't run the main light system. Apple. Now we'll get a little bit of supper. Gonna have some ham tonight. Leftover Christmas ham. Alright, tonight I got some croissants with hummus. And I got my ham and rice over there. I also got some blackberry cake with cream cheese spread on it. This is blackberry cake in Newfoundland. It's a molasses cake with blackberries in it. Often called crowberries out west. I think I'm starting to like ham more than turkey. Ham seems so versatile after the New Year's. Turkey, you get sick of it quickly. But that's it for today. I'll see you guys in the morning. Hi there, good morning. Well, it blew last night, really stormy. It must be like 60 or 70 kilometers of wind all night. It's a little calmer now, but it did cool down a bit. When I went to bed last night, it was 0 degrees, and now it's like -9. Looks like I got a lot of heat loss from my roof. But let's get a cup of tea first. It'll look better after that. Okay, well today I have some new equipment. I got a nice helmet with a proper visor and earmuff. Also I got some nice cut pants. These are chainsaw pants. There's different levels of pants. So chainsaw pants come in different categories. There's an A and C category, which means A is for chaps, C is for pants itself. And then you got 1, 2, and 3. 1 being a slower, smaller chainsaw. 3 being a powerful, more higher riving chainsaw. If you're unsure which ones to buy, just look at your chainsaw. It's marked on your chainsaw. For example, this steel here, let's see if you can see it. This steel here as a class 1A. So the minimum you could use here is a 1, which is the slowest speed, and A, which is chaps. And all your specs for your chainsaw is here. This here is a steel 170. It's a little 30cc chainsaw. And that chainsaw is great for at the cabin, on your side-by-side, on your on your snowmobile in the wintertime in case you get stuck or you got a tree falling over your path. So here in Newfoundland, you got to have a 2-part jug. For regulations, you need oil on one side, and on the other side you need your fuel. And there is a difference between winter and summer oil, because your pump won't pump summer oil in the winter as good, and it won't oil your chain. I'll bring her inside, get her warmed up. Okay, we'll bring the chainsaw inside, get her warmed up. There is a procedure for starting steel chainsaws in the wintertime, but I got a problem with that. If you need a special procedure to start a chainsaw in -10 in Canada, there's a problem. A warm weather chainsaw. Gotta clean this place up a bit. Well, I was going to change the chain on my chainsaw, but this is my new 170, and I have a chain for the old 170, and the old 170 got a skinnier bar. Of course, it's got a skinnier chain. I had this one in there for backup, but it's not going to do me much good because it's way skinnier than this guy. So I'll just have to make do with that chain today. That's a lesson there. I didn't realize they were different. You see, that's 61 PMM3. That's the recommended chain for this one. So I'll carry on with this one. Not a big deal. I'm not cutting for the logging company and keeping the paper mill going or nothing. Just need a bit of wood. I got a little bit of wood put back there. I got 4 loads right into the cabin. That's good for a weekend in there. So the next time I come in, I got to cut a few more. And I got to go off with a snowmobile and get some sticks. Well, I was just listening to the radio and we're going to have a bad storm this afternoon. It was supposed to come on Monday morning, but it's arriving early. High winds, sleet, and a lot of snow after that. So we get things clued up here and make it out before that comes. Okay, so we're going to have a quick snack and we're going to take off. I just realized, or I just read, that dates raise your blood sugar very slowly, like protein. So that's good to know. Very calm now. Very calm. I guess we're getting that storm. Wish I didn't have to work. I love to stay here during a major storm. Well, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And if you like these videos, there's a whole bunch more on my playlist just like this. I'll see you next time.